Hey guys, it is me, Tanya, founder of the TNG Designs Group Limited. I hope you're all keeping safe and well. Now, in today's video, we're going to be talking about the idea of how to brand your flyer. Now, you would have seen my previous video about how to actually brand your website, right? And there's the same 5 key points that we're probably going to be covering in this video as well, plus a few other little bits. But at the same time, we're just going to be making sure that we adapt to our message straight from the get-go. Because there's a lot of little nuances that we've got to make sure that no matter what context we're actually putting out there in terms of our guiding tools, these 5 key points are still being covered, but at the same time we're adapting it because you know what, sometimes we have to be a little bit more concise with the message that we're actually sharing because we don't necessarily have enough space to share it on, right? So without further ado, let's get into it. But before you do, make sure that you stick around to the very end because as always, I've got an amazing, cool surprise for you to be able to tap into, not tomorrow, not next week, but today. You can actually get started with it today. And equally, remember to like and subscribe to my channel. So let's get stuck into this. So as I said, we're going to be talking about how to brand your flyer. Now, as I said, there are a few ways to go about doing this, right? There are so many ways that we can actually tap into, but you know me, I like to give you guys information in nice bite-sized chunks. And in particular, we're going to be covering the same 5 points that I would have talked about in the how to brand your website video as well. But it's going to have a little twist to it this time. So if you remember, we talked about the idea of understanding how to present or even figure out what your purpose is for your subject matter. In which case, we're talking about the flyer, right? The next thing we want to make sure that we do, we're actually revealing what that purpose is, revealing what our brand is about, revealing what our vision is about, equally revealing what our message is about as well. The next thing we want to talk about is the idea of objective. What do you want to happen from this item? In which case, the flyer. What do you want to happen with the flyer? What is your objective? What is the actual purpose, once again, for trying to figuring out as to what I'm doing this flyer for in the first place, right? We need to make that message clear. So the fourth thing to think about as well is figuring out how you're trying to motivate or even move your audience into doing the next best thing, which is creating that amazing opportunity, which is point number 5. So similar aspects, just as we covered in that video for how to brand your website, we're also bringing that same basis to the table for how to brand your flyer as well. So when you cover all those 5 points, the little tweaks that you now got to make sure that you do, as much as where we had all this umpteen amount of pages to work with within our website, right? Or even within our brochures, all these things apply quite nicely with any guiding tool that you're putting out there. When you are able to talk about your message, talk about the purpose of to why you're putting this item out there, this promo tool, in fact, promo guiding tool, if you like, when you're actually using a flyer in this respect, you got to make sure that that message stays nice and concise as possible, but gives enough information to be able to motivate and move your audience. What is it that you're trying to share with them in order to be able to take them on that journey? It's that journey again. We're taking from A to B to C to D. What is that beyond message that you're trying to give to them? What is that opportunity that you're trying to create for them? What do you want them to do at the end of it? What is your intended outcome? Always have these questions in mind because you know what, when you start thinking about what each and every one of these aspects are, the message that you're putting onto your flyers, the way that you actually think about how to present it, in fact, all these things start changing all for the better because you're now making it purposeful to your cause. The other thing as well that you also need to be mindful of, and equally the same for your websites as well, think about the type of imagery that you're using. Think about the type of hierarchy of messaging that you're using. Is a certain element going to be bolder? Is the most key part of your message going to be bolder? Is the less important, but it's all very important information, is that going to be a slightly smaller text? Play around the text and the font sizes as well. There are so many different aspects that you can do in order to be able to make this flyer really cool and interesting to look at. Because at the end of the day, we are visual people. A lot of us are visual people, even those information-based people as well. But as I said, in terms of your website, you're equally trying to do the same thing with your flyer, which is making information nice and concise as possible, nice and direct as possible. There are many ways to go about doing it, and there are many ways to try and screw up that message as well. So things to be mindful of are the weights of your fonts. Things to be mindful of are the type of imagery that you're using. Things to be mindful of are your colors as well that you're using. Again, same similar aspects that you should be tackling in your website if you haven't done so already. They are quite straightforward, but at the same time, they are very easy to mess up, unfortunately. So make it all relevant. The key to all of what we're doing is relevancy and clarity. And with that comes the certainty in the delivery of your message that you're actually trying to put out to your audience as well. So folks, I really hope that information helped you. Please go ahead and like and subscribe to my channel. Equally, go ahead and comment below this video. I really hope that it helped you out. But as I said, there are so many ways to go about doing this. And in actual fact, I've had clients come to me and say, Tan, I actually created my own flyer. I've done it myself. And do you know what? Yeah, I'm cool with the information. Do you mind just having a quick look over it? And I've looked at it and I've given my honest opinion. I've given my honest feedback. I've had flyers like this. Every little bit of information is to the point where it's become an essay. People don't have time to read essays on a flyer. I'll tell you that right now. But at the same time, what people do have time for is very clear-cut, concise information to be able to take them from point A to point B to point C and all the way through to that intended outcome or opportunity that you're wanting to create for them. That's a common mistake that a lot of people make, thinking that they have to throw the world on this flyer. No, you're just trying to keep the information as seriously as concise as possible because of time. We all have that time factor in place, no matter who we are, no matter what type of audience we have. That is a key factor that we need to be mindful of. As I've talked to you guys about before, think about how you take in information. If you're not the type of person to sit there and read through reams and reams of information, then why are you producing something like that? Needless to say, that client whose flyer I did have a look at, that client whose flyer I did literally pick apart, they actually gave that for me to design. But not only is this part of what I do, but equally, I can't sit by and let somebody put out information like that, especially when they've come to me for advice about it. And I advise anybody, even regardless if you're a designer or not, if somebody's come to you with the advice, give the advice that they've come that they've asked you for, right? So in any case, I took on this flyer and I shrank down a hell of a lot of text into one concise paragraph. We broke up that information and we made things bold in certain areas. We made things slightly smaller text in certain areas, but at the same time, the call to action, that opportunity, which is what they were trying to create by way of a webinar, by way of an amazing session that they're hosting, we made that part nice and clear. Ways to contact. Even, I'm sure I've talked to you guys about this before, how can you actually insert a QR code? Think about that part. QR codes are so underrated and they don't get used enough in my opinion. But they are so useful and they are so easy to be able to apply quite nice and neatly as well. So folks, there we go. Simple ways as to how you can actually go about branding your flyer, and things to also think about how not to brand your flyer or actually produce your flyer, in fact. So folks, go away, take that information, watch this video back as much as you can do. Equally, go ahead and comment. If you've got any questions, please let me know in the comment section below and I'm more than happy to go ahead and comment back for you for sure. And as always, do not forget to make sure that you go ahead and download my guide by using the link in the description box below as well. Take in all that juicy information that I've got in there to be able to share with you today. You can actually implement it today, not tomorrow, not next week. You can actually do it today so you can get started with it. So folks, go ahead and take that in. Make sure you like and subscribe to my channel and I will see you on the next video. Take care.